Alright folks, Loki is finished. Let's rank the episodes. Folks, coming in at last place, number 6, has to be Episode 3, Lamentus. Now, a bit of a recap. Loki and Sylvie, after, escaping from the TVA, end up on Lamentus, one of the worst disaster, I believe is how Sylvie describes it, and they connect with each other. Now, great character development, maybe the best of the show in one episode, but I'm a plot guy, and this really has nothing for the plot. I've seen people criticize people who call this a filler episode, but that's what it feels like to me. Filler is just anything that doesn't progress the plot, and this doesn't in the slightest. It really doesn't. You could splice episode 2 and 4 together, and it would make sense. You wouldn't have the character development, but it would make sense. And double that with the fact that I don't even like the relationship between Loki and Sylvie, because I think a romantic one is weird. Episode doesn't have a whole lot. It's still good. It's certainly not bad. Great action, great cinematography, great visual effects, but not my favorite. My least favorite, as a matter of fact, which is why it's number 6. Folks, coming in at number 5, episode 2, The Variant. Bit of a recap. Loki and Mobius sort of bond together as they try to figure out what the variant Loki's game plan is. They try to find out more about her, which we didn't know at the time, although it was a prevalent theory, and they try to track her down. Now, this is a great episode. It's got chemistry between Loki and Mobius, and then you get the big reveal at the end of the episode that Sylvie, Lady Loki, is, I don't want to say the main villain, but that's sort of what we thought back then, a main character within the show. The plot is fully set into motion in this episode, but there's a little too many scenes of just ordinary things happening in this episode, and that really drags it down. It's not fully flowing. It's not the greatest pacing of all time, but it's still a great episode. Number 5. Folks, coming in at number 4 is episode 1, Glorious Purpose. Bit of a recap. Loki, of course, gets intercepted by the TVA as we and him both learn all about the inner workings of it. This is a brilliant episode that set the stage perfectly. We get to have fun seeing this old version of Loki sort of come to know more about himself and who he wants to be and who he becomes for the rest of the MCU potentially, but definitely the show. We get Mobius, great character. We get to learn all about the exposition of the TVA, which is just so fascinating and intriguing. And that's really how I would describe episode 1, intriguing. And I think it upholds that intrigue, sets the stage for the rest of the show. It's excellent. Folks, coming in at number 3 has to be episode 4, the Nexus event. Folks, this is the episode where both variants are captured. Loki tries to explain everything to Mobius. Sylvie tries to explain everything to Hunter B-15. And they try to take down the Timekeepers, who, lo and behold, are not real. Now, if you've been following my reviews of Loki, you'll see maybe this one is a little bit of a soft spot because I did predict this theory. But even beyond that, this episode has so much going for it. You've got great fights, great intrigue, big plot points, huge ones. You have pretty much every major character within the show interacting within this episode. There's a lot going on. What more could you want? What more could you want? Folks, coming in at number 2 has to be episode 5, Journey into Mystery. Bit of a recap. After Loki gets pruned, he meets, other versions of himself and tries to escape the void. Folks, this episode has everything you could possibly want. In my opinion, has the best comedy of the series. You have some of the best characters of the series, like people like classic Loki, who I absolutely love, and then you have, of course, the legendary alligator Loki. You get Sylvie and Mobius hatching a plan in this great setting. The visual effects are amazing. Again, the comedy really makes this one rise to the top for me. It's all so great. It's all so much fun. You got a great plan that they have to hatch. It's genius. I love it. Folks, coming in at number 1 for me has to be episode 6, For All Time, Always, the finale of the show. Recap. Do you need one? Sure. They meet Kang. Everything falls apart, basically, is how I would summarize it. And at this point in the series, when you've just been waiting for everything to happen and for it all to just unfold like that in front of you, it is just such a great feeling to see everything leading up to this moment. And it sticks to the landing because you get Kang, who in and of himself is a great, I don't know about villain, but character, and it sets the stage for, what could potentially be the rest of the MCU, but even if it's not, it's just such a great ending to the show, and such a great setup for season 2 there's nothing like watching it for the first time. It's so amazing. You get the fight between Sylvie and Loki, which despite not being the best choreographed fight, is still my favorite fight of the season just because of the emotional impact and the fact that I just wasn't expecting that they would do that. Again, Kang is a great character. She actually kills Kang, setting off everything, making everything absolutely crazy, not to mention the philosophical discussions, which I just absolutely love. Things like setting up Ravonna, Mobius, B-15, the TVA's future. Dude, this episode is so good. Alright folks, that is my ranking of the Loki episodes. Let me know down below if your number one was anything besides the finale. I mean, just kidding. Obviously it can be, but I haven't seen a lot of people who share that opinion because the finale was just that good. But of course, please let me know your ranking of the episodes down below, folks, or your just review of Loki in general, what you thought of the show. Folks, I've been EPC Reviews. You have been amazing. I'll see you in the next video and season 2. Bye-bye.